Ladies, I am here tonight on this. What a what a week, ladies and gentlemen. What a week. Jesus Christ, man, I cannot believe this shit. One of the most what the fuck is happening? What the fuck is happening right now? One of the most entertaining ways, one of the most entertaining weeks, final weeks of the NFL season. Maybe it is worth having 17 games in 18 weeks because this was crazy. Usually the final week is so boring. All three games I watched today: Pittsburgh, Baltimore, San Francisco, LA Rams, and LA Chargers, Las Vegas Raiders all went to overtime. Jesus Christ, man. What a day of NFL. Jesus Christ, man. I can't believe it, man. All right, let's start shit with the shit shows. Obviously, Cleveland beats 21-16 over Bengals with a bunch of backups, both teams. Lions beat the Packers. I think most of the second half, especially the Packers played backups. Vikings, it could be both the final games for Matt Nagy and Mike Zimmer. The Vikings win it. Both coaches are there's a lot of reports that they could be both fired here in the next few days. Both Matt Nagy and Mike Zimmer. So we'll see what happens there. Washington 22-7 over New York Football Giants. Jacksonville with the huge upset over the Indianapolis Colts. Jesus Christ, 26-11. Oh my Lord, this was so embarrassing for Indianapolis. Carson Wentz. I feel like they brought him in here to take the next step, right? After going 11-5 with Philip Rivers. Philip Rivers retires, and now they're like, let's get younger at the quarterback. Let's get more athletic, more mobile. And you bring in Carson Wentz, and you take a step back. I believe they started 0-3. And today they find themselves, with a chance to make the damn playoffs as they win. All they have to beat is Jacksonville, who's the worst team in football, and they fucking lose 26-11. Carson Wentz, 185 yards, one touchdown, one interception. He also had a lost fumble. This guy played like shit. They took a step back instead of taking a step forward with Carson Wentz. They went from 11-5 to 9-8, missing the playoffs. I don't know what they're gonna do. I mean, what did you get? I mean, do you entertain the possibility of trading this guy maybe for like a third round pick and maybe crossing your fingers that Jacob Eason is a franchise quarterback? Because Carson Wentz looked like a game manager a lot this year. He really did. Like I said, tonight, 185 yards, can't even get to 200. I don't know what the future holds for that man. I think they'll bring him back, but I'm sure there'll be some entertainment about possible trade just to try to get draft picks. Remember, they traded him for a first and a third from Philadelphia. Maybe they try to get the third back. I don't know, man. He's kind of a bust, I think. Yeah, he had that one good season, but after that, it's been a bunch of average. Last year he led the league in interceptions. So I don't know about Carson Wentz, man. I'm sure they'll bring him back, but I'm sure they'll entertain what's out there. Maybe somebody's willing to take him for like a third round pick or something. I don't know. Maybe Miami, but you just saw Indianapolis going from 11-5 to missing the playoffs. So I don't know if Miami wants to touch that. Pittsburgh, what a game, 16-13. Many people thought it was going to be Ben Roethlisberger final game, of course, assuming Indianapolis was going to be Jacksonville. But at the moment Jacksonville beats Indianapolis, Pittsburgh had the chance to get in, and they do that. Ben Roethlisberger driving down the field in overtime to win a game, 16-13 with a field goal. Oh my Lord! You had Ray Lewis, everybody in the pregame show in the morning talking about how appropriate it's his career started back in 2004 versus Baltimore, and it's going to end in 2022 versus Baltimore. Throw that shit out the window. Carson Wentz in Indianapolis says, "Hold my beer, not so fast, my friend." And now Pittsburgh, they win, and they're in the playoffs. They will play the City Chiefs. Jesus Christ, man. Ben Roethlisberger continues his career extended for at least one more week, man. Jesus Christ, man. Tennessee 28-25 over Houston. New Orleans 30-20 over Atlanta, where I believe Tyson Hill, who was already playing with a broken finger, broke his foot. I'm not sure. They got to go get a quarterback. I don't know who the hell they're going to get, but definitely they don't have Jameis Winston. I'm sorry, but he's not that good either. I think they have to get a quarterback. We'll see what happens with Sean Payton in Indianapolis. I beg your pardon, New Orleans Saints. Buffalo 27-10 over the Jets. And this game right here, San Francisco LA Rams 27-24. Once again in overtime. This was kind of funny because San Francisco, I think, needed to win this game, and they did. Otherwise, New Orleans would have gone into the playoffs. But San Francisco down 17-0, and I think they were 17-3 at halftime. Sean McVay was 45-0 at halftime in his career when winning. And for the first time today, Kyle Shanahan, San Francisco, get him, come back after being down by 17-0, come back, tie at 20-24, and go to overtime and win it with a field goal 27-24. San Francisco advances, and the Rams, they advance too. They actually win the division because Seattle wins the division, but because they lost and Dallas and Tampa Bay won, they go from the 2 seed to the 4 seed. So that was the bummer for the Rams. They did win the division, and they're going to get a home game. But instead of having to play Philadelphia, who's probably the worst team on paper in the NFC, they're going to have to play the Arizona Cardinals. So that was a huge bummer. My friend was all excited. Okay, we lost, but we're going to get Philly. I'm like, no, dude, you dropped to 4. You're going to have to play Arizona. He had a pendejo face on. He didn't know whether to shit on his watch. That game will be on Monday Night Football. San Francisco will play Dallas on Sunday. Miami, once again, Bill Belichick just cannot win in Miami. Bill Belichick and Aaron Rodgers, they just cannot win in Florida. Seriously, man. Jesus Christ. 33-24, Miami wins. Seattle, like I said, they help out the Rams with the W, and that forces so the game, instead of being in Arizona, is now in LA. That's pretty much what they did. Seattle gave the Rams the home field advantage for their matchup versus Arizona next week. Buccaneers 41-17. At this point, man, I don't even know what's left of that team. Mike Evans got hurt. Obviously, no Antonio Brown anymore. Chris Godwin's out for the season. Like, it's pretty much Gronkowski, and I don't know what's left of this team. Everybody's hurt. I think Leonard Fournette's also hurt. Who knows what the hell is left of this team? But they still managed to score 41. I think they'll make some noise, but who knows how far they'll go because they got a lot of injuries. We'll see. And then, obviously, the game of the night, 35-32. What the fuck is happening? LA Raiders. I think you battled on. What the fuck am I smoking? Las Vegas Raiders, Los Angeles Chargers, 35-32. At one point, 29-14. LA Raiders had this game under control. And then everybody on Twitter was congratulating the damn Raiders on going to the playoffs for the first time, I believe, since 2016. But then here comes Justin Herbert, and he says, "Not so fast, my friend." And I think he converted like what 4 downs. It was like it's like when it's a baseball when you're down to 2 strikes and you get that fucking hit. It's like I couldn't believe it. Every time it was 4th down, he kept converting it. I'm like, Jesus Christ, man. I don't know. Did Brandon Staley forget to run the damn ball? At the end, they were just throwing it. And I mean, there was a lot of incompletions in there. I think he only completed like 50% of his throws. I'm like, dude, you do have Austin Eckler. Why don't you try to run the ball a little bit? I don't know why he just. I mean, I know they were down by a lot. You know, they were down 29-14. But when they started getting close, I'm like, why don't you try to run the ball? He's on 1st and 2nd down. Jesus Christ. Justin Herbert's arm I thought it was going to fucking fall off. 64 throws. He completes 34 of those. 383 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. But yeah, man, I think Brandon Staley, I think he could have run the ball a little bit more, especially when they got close there. When it was like fucking even 29-22, you could have at times run the ball, you know, when it was 29-29 or 32-32. I thought way too much happy throwing there at the end for the Chargers, man. And that kind of cost them, I think. The receivers were gas, man. They were trying to go no huddle, and fucking the receivers, man, Mike Williams and Keenan Allen and freaking Jared Cook were walking, man. They were tired. They couldn't even do the no huddle. They were walking. They were gas, man. They were literally running routes the whole fucking game. Jesus, I thought they could have done a better job with Austin Eckler of like running the ball towards the end of the game, man. I really did. They got too passy happy. But yeah, Derek Carr, let's look at his stats real quick. See, only 36 throws for Derek Carr, 34 runs. They did a much better job of balancing that out with the running and the throwing with 36 and 34. Derek Carr completed 20 of those 36 throws, 186 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Josh Jacobs, 182 yards, 1 touchdown. But yeah, they did a much better job of balancing the running game and the throwing game. I thought the Chargers they fell in love. They're like, Justin Herbert, go win this game for us. And they completely forgot about the running game with Austin Ekeler. And there at the end, there's a big controversy because supposedly there's a video. People were saying the Raiders are going to run the clock out and have it be a tie, and both teams are going to make it to the playoffs, and Pittsburgh's going to miss the playoffs. That was just the scenario that if they tied, both teams are going to make. Why did the Chargers call that timeout? That made the Raiders kick the field goal and win it. Now, the Raiders, they interviewed Derek Carr after the game. He's like, nope, we were going to fucking win that game regardless. But then he also said, it's going to change our mindset. It did change our mindset when they called a timeout. And there's a video, I think it was Austin Ekeler talking, I think it's one of the offensive linemen from the Raiders. And he tells them, were you going to knee? And he tells them, yeah. And then Austin Ekeler just goes like this. So there's a video out there about the Raider, I believe it's Austin Ekeler with one of the Raiders offensive linemen, and he tells them, we're going to need that shit if you guys don't take that time out. And if that would have been the case, they would have both advanced to the playoffs, and Pittsburgh would have missed the playoffs. I don't know, man. I don't know. A lot of people are going nuts over that. Boy, did the Chargers call a timeout. The Raiders could just milk the clock out, and both teams would have gone over to the playoffs. I don't know. And according to that conversation they're showing with the 2 players, Raiders and Chargers, is saying that, yeah, you can read his lips. He tells them, were you going to kneel that? He's like, and he kind of tells them, yeah, and the Raiders player looks disappointed. I mean, the Chargers player looks disappointed. Who knows? That would have been crazy if they would have just run the clock out and end the game in a tie 32-32. I think, last year, remember the controversy with Doug Peterson and the Philadelphia Eagles resting all their starters and getting beat by Washington, and then Giants didn't advance to the playoffs. You know how hot the damn Giants fan and the franchise Judge Doge was over it. Remember, he was so pissed. This would have been even worse if the damn Raiders and Chargers would have run the clock out and tied at 32-32. Pittsburgh, if you thought the Giants were mad last year at the Eagles, imagine the Steelers, how mad they would have been at the Raiders if that would have been the case. Jesus Christ, man, that would have been crazy if that would have happened. We'll never know if the Chargers don't call that timeout. Who knows what would have happened? But that would have been a crazy. And according to the conversation those 2 players were having, they were planning to kneel out and let the clock run out. Wow. Then what a week of football. One of the funnest weeks I've seen, especially for a finale. We'll see what the playoffs hold. Let me see if I can off my mind here. I think it's going to be Buffalo, New England, Cincinnati, Las Vegas, Pittsburgh, Kansas City, Dallas, San Francisco, Arizona, LA Rams, Tampa Bay, Philadelphia. I believe those are the 6 matchups. I think Kansas City, Pittsburgh probably be a blowout. Kansas City will smash them. I think Tampa is going to smash Philly. But I think the other 4, Buffalo, New England, for the 3rd time they're going to meet. I think that's going to be a good one. I think Arizona, LA Rams for the 3rd time they will meet. That should be a good one. I think Dallas, San Francisco should be a good one. And I think, what's the other one? Cincinnati, Las Vegas. I think that could also be a good one. So I think at least 4 out of the 6 could be good. I don't know about Tampa. I don't know how the hell they scored 41 points today. They're missing so many players. Chris Godwin, Mike Evans are hurt. Leonard Fournette is hurt. Obviously, Antonio Brown is released, and they still put up 41. But the Eagles don't have a good defense, so they might still be lit up the Eagles next week. I think Kansas City's going to lit up Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh does have a good defense. Joe Hayden and Mika Fitzpatrick, so the secondary. Maybe they can. I think we'll see. TJ Watt, obviously. So maybe I think the Pittsburgh could probably do a better job of keeping it close versus Kansas City than Philadelphia versus Tampa. But those 2 games I think could be the ass whoopings. The other 4 could be fantastic games. We'll see what happens. Until next time, I'm out like a light.